For many years, I've had a smart lock from the Swedish company Glue, but it seems like the company has given up on it. In any case, it's been several years since it was last updated, and it also doesn't work with Apple HomeKit. It can only be controlled via the company's own app, and that one also hasn't been updated in over 2 years. The reason I haven't replaced it before is that, as I said, I've been waiting for a lock that supports Apple HomeKey because I didn't want to buy another smart lock that didn't integrate properly with the rest of our smart home system. By the way, it seems that both the old lock from Glue and this new lock from Aqara connect to our existing door lock in pretty much the same way, so I hope it will be relatively easy to replace it. But let's start by seeing what's in the box. This is the Aqara U200. It's currently listed on Aqara site for €270, but I was lucky enough to find it on sale when I bought it, so it's a very good idea to check Price Runner or similar sites before you order, if you want to get the best price. And yes, I personally bought this lock myself with my own money, just to be clear. So let's go ahead and see what's actually included in the box. This looks like the battery. It's a rechargeable battery that comes with a small USB-C port located right here, and there's also an adapter included in case you'd rather use AA batteries instead of this rechargeable one. It's actually very nice and convenient that you have both options available to you. Then there's the lock itself, and it's quite heavy, honestly. It seems like there's some pretty good solid stuff inside it. Let's try and see what it looks like, shall we? Well, it looks like this. So yes, it looks strikingly similar to my old Swedish Glue lock, but smarter, I hope. I chose it in black because our door is black on the outside, and since you also get this handy control panel, which can be placed on the outside of the door, it matches the color of the lock, so I thought it would look best if I chose the black version. And on this panel, I have a number pad where I can enter codes if I want to create one-time codes or just numeric codes for the door, for example, for visitors. I also have a fingerprint reader located down here, and then, as I mentioned earlier, I can use NFC tags, or my watch, or even my phone. I wonder if there's actually more hidden under here. It turned out it was just some cardboard. Ooh, but then there's a whole lot of really exciting things to discover. There's actually a small NFC tag included here, which you can also program or code to the lock. So if you have someone, maybe a friend or family member that you want to give a key to, well, they can get this little tag they can put on their keychain, which they can then just hold up to this to unlock it. It's very nice that a single one is included. I think you can buy extra ones separately if you need them. I'll probably just use my phone or my watch. Then there are actually quite a lot of different adapters which have to do with which specific pin is inside the lock on the door. So you need one that fits in properly, and then it goes in here on the other side. So I'll have to figure out exactly which one I need to use there. There's also a small USB-C cable, so I can charge it, and then there are also AAA batteries, which are to be used in the keypad. It doesn't have rechargeable batteries, it just has these AAA ones. I'm guessing it doesn't use much power because it doesn't have to power anything. It's only when you're entering your code that it's active. And, well, what else do we have? Then we have some adhesive material from 3M for securely mounting this plate, which... no, it's not this plate. It's this plate that you mount on the door. If you don't want to screw it into the door, then there's some 3M adhesive you can stick it on with. But this right here, I've actually seen this in another video. If I can just get it open. It's an alternative faceplate, so if you'd like to have a wood-type plate, for example, if you have a door made of dark brown wood, you might think this particular one is a bit nicer. You can just put this one on instead. Then there's a little pouch. This is pretty neat too. It's basically so you can actually take a power bank, and then you can put your power bank down in here and run a cable up to the lock, the battery, when it's inside the lock. Then you can hang this on your door handle and it can charge, so you don't have to take this out when you're charging it. Yeah, that's pretty neat. I don't know, maybe I'll just take it out and leave the door alone in the meantime. But okay, it's very cool that they include one of these as well. And finally, there are actually quite a few different types of spacers, and I think it has to do with whether the lock that you have on the inside of the door sticks out a little bit from the surface. Then you might need to use some spacers to put in the bottom here so that it lines up parallel with the door. But we'll find that out when I go to mount it. But that was everything that was in the box for the Aqara U200, and that is all you will find inside. So let's see if I can figure out how to get it installed. Well, before I can mount the new lock, I have to first remove my old glue lock right here. I've already taken the batteries out, so I just need to slowly and carefully unscrew these things. And then we'll see what's hiding underneath, and if I can actually get the adapter to fit properly in its place. There we go. And here is the old backplate from the glue lock. This little piece right here in the center is their version of the small black adapters that came with the U200, which should hopefully also fit in here through the new backplate. Now I just need to get this plate off as well. So let's go ahead and find a screwdriver for that. There we go. So far, so good. Then I need to carefully get this new plate to sit right here, and it should actually fit with the screw holes that are already there inside the lock. They're used to securely hold this in place. But they're not quite right, because I need it to be in the middle, but I've actually seen that you can turn this plate here. This plate, you can just unscrew it, and then you can turn it upside down so they should fit better. So let's give that a try. Let's just screw it in again. There, let's see if this looks more correct. In fact, it does indeed look more correct as far as I can see, maybe. The knob should be right in the middle there. It's a bit off, so this will be interesting. This isn't quite perfect, so I'll just have to work on that a bit. Well, I found out that those two screws that were supposed to go through here, that was just one way to mount it, but it doesn't line up with the holes here, even when I turn this plate around. But you can also mount it by screwing it directly into the door here, or alternatively, by using the 3M adhesive plate that I showed you earlier. So I think this is the one we'll use, possibly with a few screws as well. I've also found out that I need an adapter that sort of sits over this little tab, and I found the one that fits best. It's this one. It's not quite the same shape, but it fits really well. I've just given this a single layer of gaffer tape, just so it sits completely snug. So then it's in place, it doesn't move at all, and then it can turn really smoothly. I don't really think it was absolutely necessary, but at least now I know for sure that it's sitting really stable and doesn't have any give or movement on the sides at all. So I actually think that's going to work out very well in the end. Right, so I need to put this on here. I just need to take the adhesive off afterwards, and then of course I have to make sure it's as vertical as possible before I stick it on. And then I have this one in as a guide to align it. But let's see if it works. That looks about right, and it's definitely on there pretty tight. So, that's great. I don't actually think we need to do anything more. No screws needed. Then comes the next step, which is we have to put the lock on here. So I just have to fit the adapter in the center here. There's a spring inside the lock, so it sort of pushes the adapter knob into place when mounted. So I guess it's probably just a matter of finding the right position of the knob. It has a little give, so it's not that hard. It's sort of spring mounted, so it holds the knob in place. And it looks like I can turn this without any problems. So I just need to put some screws in here. Then the lock is secured. There we go. So that's on there pretty firmly. And I can at least open and close the door. It turns the lock perfectly when I do it by hand. So now we just need to put in the battery and see if we can actually get the lock activated properly. There's a little yellow marker here, so I know which way the battery should face. Now I'll push it in. Like that. It should be in place now. I can see it lights up, and it also gives a beep. I've downloaded the Aqara app called Aqara Home. So let's see if I can connect to the lock now and get it set up. I just have to grant the app permission for a whole bunch of things so that it can see my home and so on. But I can see that it has already found the lock. So it wants to use the camera so I can scan the code here on the lock. Let's see. There we go. It should connect now. Now let's see if we can get it set up. Then I can actually tell it exactly what room it's in. I can also give it maybe I can even give it a name if I want. Do we have something here called doorway by any chance? We'll just call it doorway. That's probably fine. And I can change its name if I want, but I think the default name is just fine. I can always change it later. So I'll just move on. To proceed with the configuration, I first had to create a user and set it as the administrator of the lock and activate the keypad. After I had chosen a PIN code for the lock, I could also set up a fingerprint in the same way you know from iPhones and iPads with Touch ID, and then I was allowed to choose which lock I have. I initially chose EU, of course, but I've actually changed it since because I think it has more to do with the U200's orientation. It did work fine with the EU setting though. Then I had to go through a series of calibration steps to ensure the lock was set up correctly, and finally I made sure to update the lock's firmware so I was sure it was completely up to date. It took quite a long time. I think it's because the phone communicates with the lock via Bluetooth, so it takes a while to send the software over. After the lock was updated and I had carefully verified that everything was working as expected, I went into Apple's Home app to add it there. You press the little plus sign in the top right corner and select the option to add an accessory, and then you scan the QR code that is located on the lock itself. Unfortunately, it didn't work at first, and I struggled a bit to get the Home app to connect to the lock. It has something to do with when you press the set button on the lock versus when the phone is searching for it, because the lock apparently shuts down its Bluetooth signal quite quickly. Some people have also had success with taking the battery out again and putting it back in before trying to connect. But after a few tries, I managed to get a connection, and then it just worked. The Home app asked me to choose which room the lock should belong to, and I got the option to change its name. It's best to give it a name in your own language, so you can, for example, say, "Unlock the front door" to Siri. After that, I finally got the option to add a digital key to my wallet. The U200 is currently one of only a few locks available in the EU that supports Apple's HomeKey, so that was one of the main reasons why I chose it. You also get the option to choose whether the phone should require Face ID or a passcode before it unlocks the door, or if it's enough to just hold the phone up to the lock. Afterwards, you have to choose a numeric code for the lock, and then you get the option to add an automation. For example, to turn on the light in the hallway every time the door is unlocked. Once the lock is set up, it just works. It reacts extremely fast, almost instantly. Our old glue lock took a really long time to react, and then it had to turn for quite a while before it finally opened. The U200, it reacts immediately, and it's easy and fast to lock the door when you leave, just by pressing the keypad. And regardless of whether you unlock the door with your fingerprint, hold your phone up to the lock, or hold your Apple Watch in front of it to unlock, it opens up instantly and lightning fast. Operating it via HomeKit also works fast. And you also get notifications immediately, and the lock even sends notifications to HomeKit if you manually lock or unlock it by turning the interior handle. That way, you can always see the current status of the lock in your Home app. It's also pretty cool that you can use the U200 with HomeKit without having to buy a separate hub from Aqara, as long as you have an Apple device that supports the Thread protocol. For example, it could be an Apple TV 4K second or third generation, a HomePod Mini, or a second generation HomePod. For example, we have a single HomePod Mini in the living room, and it works fine with the lock. I've been using it for several months now, and it works really well, because you can also control it via Apple Home when you're away, so you can unlock the door remotely. And inside the Home app, you can create both permanent and time-limited access to the lock. And you can add PIN codes for people who don't have an Apple device or who don't want to use it to gain access. All the people who are already part of your Apple Home, well, they automatically get a home key added to their wallet, ready to use. So I must say that the U200 works incredibly well with Apple Home. I hope you found this video useful. Feel free to give it a like, and please remember to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos about tech. It's completely free. You can just click on my picture. You can also support the channel with a small amount by buying me a cup of coffee. And if you want to see more, YouTube, of course, has another video ready. It's right up there. See you soon.